The Loyalist Primarchs were the sons of the emperors that did not fall into temptation and become corrupted by the ruinous powers of chaos. They were the ones that held the line during the Horus Heresy and dealt huge blows to the enemies of the Imperium. There are 9 of the Primarchs that joined Chaos Gods, or at least 8 of them, or one of 2 just being here and there, Alpharius, omegon. Then there are 9 of the ones that remain loyal, and as such, there were battles between the Primarchs of the 2 factions in many occasions, not just during the Heresy but even now in the 41st and 42nd Millennium. So here in this video we will showcase all the wins that the Loyalist Primarchs achieved against their traitor brothers. Firstly, the Lion L. Johnson defeats Konrad Curze twice. So after losing the fight with Curze in Salgualsa in the Savage Weapons, the storyline, the Lion would get his revenge on the precognitive Primarch in the Prince of Crows when the 2 duel against each other again, but this time the Dark Angel has learned about the strengths and weaknesses of the Night Haunter. In the battle, the Night Lord's Legion lost the final battle against the Dark Angels, and Curze is crippled after the Lion cut his throat and putting him into a coma. He would again fight Curze later in the Angels of Caliban storyline, and here too he would defeat the Night Haunter. Instead of ending the life of Curze, however, he opted to restrain himself, acknowledging his inability to kill a brother. However, he proceeded to deliver a series of blows to Curze. The Lion then forcefully removed Curze's backpack and forcefully slammed him onto his knee, causing a severe spinal injury that left him paralyzed. Curze was then taken before Sanguinius and Guilliman to face a trial. Secondly, the Lion defeats Demon Prince Angron in the ARKS of OMEN. So this is actually the latest duel between 2 brother Primarchs, a fight that is pound for pound one of the best matchups till date. We have the Lion L. Johnson against a Demon Prince Angron. So in the ARKS of OMEN, the Lion, after his awakening and meeting up with Dante and the Blood Angels, went forth to Wormwood to put an end to Vashtor and the Chaos forces there. So Angron initially fought Azrael and then Dante, but before he could end the Blood Angel's chapter master's life, the Lion appeared before him through his Shadow Walk or Forest Walk technique, and the 2 locked themselves in a brutal fight until the Lion was able to use Angron's own attack to force the tip of the fealty into the demon's throat, and then banish the demon with the Emperor's shield. Number 3. Rubuti Guilliman dominated the fight against Lorgar in Nuceria. So after the traitor attacks on the realm of Ultramar during the Heresy, Guilliman's Retribution fleet finally caught up to the Word Bearers on Angron's homeworld of Nuceria. So he confronted Lorgar about the atrocities committed by the Word Bearers Legion across Ultramar's 500 worlds. Fueled by his righteous anger, the Primarch of the Ultramarines delivered a powerful punch to Lorgar's chest, causing significant damage to the Word Bearers Primarch's sternum, the ribcage. In response, Lorgar utilized his telekinetic abilities to push Guilliman away, back a few feet at least. Seizing the opportunity, Lorgar struck Guilliman's face with his weapon, delivering a devastating blow akin to a cannonball, one of them experiencing internal bleeding, while the other one bore a grisly consequence of a fractured skull, but with no less conviction whatsoever. Guilliman went on to dominate the fight until Angron interrupted and Lorgar fled the scene. Number 4. Leman Russ defeats Magnus in Prospero. Leman Russ was sent to bring Magnus in for his astral projection and ruining the Grand Webway project of the Emperor just before the Heresy. So they met in Prospero, and with the warp storm heavily empowering Magnus, the 2 engaged in a brutal fight that lighted up the place with warp energies and lightning. The rain turned bloody, and each clash resonated with deafening thunder, making the 2 Primarchs appear larger than life, like giants brimming with immense power. Magnus initially had the upper hand, and with a death punch sending shards of ceramite into the body of the Wolf King, and also penetrating the side of the Wolf King with a psychic blade of pure thought. But the battle wasn't over. The Wolf King started to swing his blade randomly, and with a stroke of luck, blinded the remaining eye of the Crimson King. He then proceeded to break Magnus's back over his knee. But before Russ could finish the job with his blade, Magnus casted a spell, and he, with his entire legion and the city, disappeared into the warp, and in the process he became a demon prince. Okay, number 5 will be controversial. Russ initially won the fight against Horus. So in the Battle of Trisolian in the Wolfsbane storyline, Leman Russ was sent to slow down the War Master's advance towards Terra. Realizing victory was unlikely, Leman Russ voluntarily asked aid from his Wolf Lords. Unwaveringly, all the Space Wolves accepted the perilous task. Horus, corrupted by chaos since Molech, pleaded with Russ to join him in overthrowing the Emperor. Despite his sorcerous abilities, Russ was shielded by the protective power of the Spear of Russ. Their battle became a contest of raw strength, with Horus holding the upper hand, and despite Russ's swiftness, Horus managed to ensnare Russ with his talon, but the Primarch of the Space Wolves broke free, impaling the Spear of Russ into Horus's side. However, at the critical moment, Russ hesitated and only partially inflicted the fatal blow. But his mercy towards Horus became his undoing, as the War Master rebounds back and dominated the rest of the fight. Number 6. Rogal Dorn kills Alpharius in the Praetorian of Dawn storyline. So at the onset of the war in the solar system during the Horus Heresy, the Alpha Legion, acting on Horus's orders, initiated the first strike with the objective of creating chaos and confusion within the heart of the Imperium. Years before the Heresy, sleeper cells had been covertly established, and they now carried out acts of sabotage resulting in the deaths of millions. These attacks diverted the attention of Terra, drawing it away from Alpharius' true target, Pluto and its moons, which played a crucial role in Rogal Dorn's strategic plans for the upcoming conflict. Rogal Dorn, aware of the situation, personally confronted his brother Alpharius. In a confrontation filled with silent intensity, the two Primarchs engaged in a fierce duel, clashing their weapons, Dorn's swords against Alpharius' spear. Ultimately, in this bitter contest, Rogal Dorn emerged victorious, delivering a fatal blow to Alpharius, killing him. Number 7. Corvus Corax defeats Lorgar, twice, in the first Heretic and in the Shadows of the Past. So we all know that Lorgar was the weakest of the bunch. In the first Heretic, the storyline, which involves the Battle of Isvan V, otherwise known as the Dropside Massacre, Corax was killing word-bearers left and right until Lorgar rushed towards him. But his inexperience in the battlefield, as he was a scholar and a preacher, was really evident, as Corax was much faster, knew better fighting styles, and could deflect most blows from the bald man. Corax lashed out fiercely with his pair of lightning claws across Lorgar's face, putting a scar that will never go away. Corax also impaled Lorgar through his stomach, with the tips of his meter-long talons glinting to the side of his spine as they thrust out from his back. Throughout the brief fight, Corax was tearing Lorgar in half, and as he was about to deliver the killing blow, Lorgar was luckily saved by Konrad Curze. So in the Shadows of the Past, Corax, mutated by the warp, was hunting his traitorous brothers. When Demon Lorgar appeared before him for another duel, Corvus Corax totally dominated this fight again as well, forcing Lorgar to retreat in fear, forever hiding in the warp. Number 8. Vulkan beats Curze into a pulp in his own ship. So following the Dropside Massacre, Vulkan finds himself imprisoned by Konrad Curze, who subjects him to torture, including attempts to kill him through various means. However, as a perpetual, Vulkan possessed the ability to regenerate. Trapped within an intricate iron labyrinth constructed by Perturabo as the final trap, Vulkan managed to find the central chamber containing his mighty force hammer called Dawnbringer. So engaging in a final showdown with Curze, who had pushed Vulkan to the edge of sanity, he managed to gain the upper hand. Utilizing Curze's body, Vulkan shattered the force field protecting his hammer, only to realize that Curze had cloaked the room, preventing the hammer's teleportation function from activating. Undeterred, Vulkan used the force hammer to beat the shit out of Curze, inflicting severe punishment upon him. However, he exercised restraint when he realized that Curze really desired death. Despite the temptation to deliver a final blow, Vulkan refrained from killing him, recognizing that it will fulfill Curze's twisted intentions. And number 9. Jaghatai Khan defeats Mortarion. So on Prospero, going back to the beginning, searching for answers as to what was happening during the start of the Heresy, the Khan was confronted by a manifestation of Magnus first. Magnus urged the Khan to take a definitive stance in the rebellion, but the Khan dispelled the projection by striking it with his sword. Thereafter, Mortarion, the Primarch of the Death Guard, also appeared and attempted to sway the Khan into joining their cause. Rejecting yet another offer, Jaghatai Khan declared that while the Emperor might be a tyrant, Horus had fully succumbed to the warp and hence could not be trusted at all. This disagreement between the two Primarchs escalated into a duel. The battle between Mortarion and the Khan was a relatively balanced fight, with the Khan's speed being matched by Mortarion's superior endurance, and with the Khan striking a few more blows than Mortarion, let's be honest. Eventually, as their fleets clashed in space, Mortarion retreated from the confrontation. thereby giving the Khan the win. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button for support and subscribe. But most of all, smash that bell icon for regular updates and new videos here on this channel. Take care, boys.